Look around any major city tonight, and you'll see a world running on an invisible heartbeat of electricity. Millions of lights, screens, and servers, all pulsing in perfect synchronization. But flash back to a cold January night in 1943, and you'll find a very different scene. In a dark, sparse room at the New Yorker Hotel, an 86-year-old man lies dying, deeply in debt, with only the city's pigeons to keep him company. That forgotten man was Nikola Tesla, and the cruel irony of his lonely end is that the neon glow lighting up the sky outside his window wouldn't exist without him. To truly understand how we built this hyper-connected grid, we have to look closely at what it cost the man whose mind actually engineered it. Born in 1856 in a small village in what is now Croatia, Tesla possessed an intellect that bordered on the supernatural. He had a photographic memory, capable of recalling entire books. More impressively, he could design, test, and debug complex machines entirely inside his head before ever touching a piece of metal. His lifelong obsession started with a simple childhood moment. While stroking his family's cat, static electricity cracked through the fur. His father, a local priest, explained the concept of electricity to him. That brief flash of static lodged a radical question in the young boy's mind. Could you harness that exact same invisible energy to light up the entire world? He carried that obsession all the way to America in 1884. He stepped off the boat with just 4 cents in his pocket and a head full of futuristic blueprints, walking right into a society that still relied heavily on gas lamps and coal. His ability to visualize a distant, electrified future was his greatest asset, but living a century ahead of everyone else around him would eventually become his undoing. Tesla quickly found work under the era's reigning inventor, Thomas Edison. But the partnership rapidly deteriorated. Their friction came down to a disagreement over how power should actually be delivered to the public. Edison backed direct current, or DC power. DC was strictly limited in range. It couldn't travel far without losing strength, meaning cities relying on it required a dangerous, overwhelming web of thick wires and power stations built on almost every block just to keep the lights on. This highlights Tesla's alternative, alternating current. Instead of pushing power down a line until it weakened, AC power rapidly oscillated in a continuous wave. This allowed high voltages to be transmitted across massive distances without degrading, safely stepped down for homes and factories. In what the press dubbed the War of Currents, Tesla's oscillating wave handily defeated Edison's direct line. AC proved vastly more efficient and became the bedrock of the global electrical grid. Proving Edison wrong cemented Tesla's status as a genius. Yet it also sparked a lifelong grinding friction between his pure scientific curiosity and a ruthless corporate system designed strictly to extract profit. Having solved global electricity distribution, Tesla didn't pause to secure his fortune. His mind immediately jumped decades further down the timeline. In 1898, he unveiled the world's first remote-controlled boat, commanding the vessel entirely through unseen radio waves. The crowd watching was completely terrified. Many genuinely believed he was employing telepathy, or even witchcraft. He fed into the spectacle. In his laboratory, he generated thousands of volts of electricity through his famous Tesla coils, reading quietly in a chair while violent blue lightning cracked through the air around him. The press eagerly branded him a mad scientist. These terrifying public demonstrations made great headlines, but they proved a dangerous point. The gap between what Tesla could build and what society could actually comprehend was becoming entirely unbridgeable. That gap culminated in his most ambitious, hubristic idea yet. He wanted to transmit power and information across the globe, completely without wires. He broke ground on a massive facility in New York to make it happen. At the center stood the Wardenclyffe Tower, an imposing structure designed to beam energy straight through the Earth and the atmosphere. The stakes were utopian. If the tower worked, anyone, anywhere on the planet could tap into an infinite stream of energy and instantly share information. But he was attempting to rewrite the rules of global infrastructure all at once. An invisible, free-flowing energy grid couldn't easily be metered or sold, making it an impossibly radical pitch for the investors footing the bill. The massive capital required to keep the project afloat dried up. Investors pulled their backing, and the great Wardenclyffe Tower was abandoned mid-construction, eventually sold off for scrap metal. Without funding, his laboratory operations ceased. Tesla slid rapidly into debt and deep isolation. He actively avoided marriage and close relationships throughout his life, convinced that human attachments would cloud his scientific focus. Which brings us right back to that sparse room at the New Yorker hotel. In 1943, at the age of 86, the man who electrified the Earth died under the care of hotel staff, entirely forgotten by the public. He surrendered his wealth, his chance at love, and eventually his own legacy. He paid that ultimate personal cost simply because he refused to tether his brilliant mind to the technological limits of his era. But history plays the long game. Over the following decades, humanity finally caught up to the ideas humming inside his head. The invisible infrastructure that currently runs our lives, the AC power grid, the radio signals in your car, the wireless networks and mobile communication, all trace their lineage directly back to his patents. The ideas that once got him written off as a lunatic are now so deeply respected that one of the most valuable corporations on the planet, Tesla Incorporated, proudly bears his name in tribute. Nikola Tesla died alone with nothing to his name, but by relentlessly chasing what everyone else called impossible, he single-handedly purchased tomorrow for the rest of us.